Greetings to you, music lovers, thrill seekers, conversationalists live across the bountiful and low unemployment fruited plain. Rush Limbaugh here to kick off another stellar week of broadcast excellence, the Excellence in Broadcasting Network and the Limbaugh Institute. Great to have you. Telephone number 800-282-2882. The email address lrushbo@eibnet.com. So the Hollywood left is all at Twitter now with the Oprah. They want the Oprah to run for president based on her speech last night. I didn't watch it. I didn't tune in to watch the Golden Globes. So all I know is what I have been able to inform myself via reading and so forth after the fact. I made it a point not to watch it. I couldn't have cared less. But the fact that they're glomming onto Oprah, no, I have plenty of thoughts about it. I know plenty enough to have thoughts about it, and I have plenty enough thoughts that will not be echoed anywhere else until I say them. And we'll get to it in due course. It's just, they think Trump is a lunatic and insane, and I'm telling you, it is they who are insane and out of control and unhinged. Just it's amazing to watch this. Yeah, so the Oprah. The key to the Oprah success is tears and crying, evidenced by last night's telecast. I pointed this out many, many moons ago on this very program. Audio soundbites coming up. But the details here. The Oprah gave such a stirring speech, and even the pre-pub on the speech was that it was going to be political. And it was. And now all the usual suspects are saying that Oprah, the Oprah, should run for president in 2020. And the guy who hangs around her, Stedman, whatever, he says, yeah, she's thinking about it. She might do it. She could do it. Now, do any of you remember how Donald Trump was thoroughly mocked, lampooned, and ridiculed by these very people for daring to suggest that Oprah might make a good running mate for him? You remember this? You don't, do you? Donald Trump said that within a couple of days of announcing he was running back in 2015. He threw Oprah's name out as a potential running mate, and these very same people had a cow. Along with the media and all the elites, they said Trump choosing Oprah was proof that he wasn't serious. Go back and check it, folks. Of course, you don't have to because I'm telling you. I did go back and check it. Trump said on ABC that he thought Oprah would make a great running mate on the same day he announced. So what's that, June 16 of 2015? Comes down the escalator at Trump Tower, says what we all remember him saying about immigration and Mexicans and criminals and so forth. And everybody was up in arms, and he also had made the point later that Oprah would be a great running mate. And the same people last night that can't wait for her to run were mocking and ridiculing Trump as being unserious, and that his mentioning of Oprah as a potential VP was evidence of it. Now, 2+ years away from that, 2.5 years away, these people cannot wait for Oprah to throw her hat in the ring. What do you think? How do you think traditional Democrats are reacting to this? Joe Biden, you know he wants it. Forget whether or not that's practical. You know Biden wants it. And there are a lot of other Democrats, elected Democrats, that are going to throw their hats in the ring. And Hollywood is one of the biggest bankrollers of the Democrat Party. Hollywood bankrolls the Democrat Party in all of its ridiculous causes. And here's the Hollywood left. And we'll get to later what that thing that they did last night means for women. I think that was a disaster last night, making every one of those women wear black and look the same and sound the same and talk the same. But what do you think? Your real Democrat officials Democrat National Committee, elected Democrats. Pick one. Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York, wants to be president, thinking about running. The things that he is doing are oriented to attract the attention of the radical left. And here comes Oprah with a speech at an award show, and the entire Hollywood left can barely contain themselves. These people, after deriding and ridiculing Trump for being nothing more than a TV personality and an unserious guy with no electoral or political experience running for president, it's an insult, it's absurd, never mind a Republican never-Trumpers. And now, what's the Democrat Party thinking of doing? And don't think they're divorced from this. Here's the Oprah, who may be the biggest celebrity they think they have. So now they think, as the copycats that they are, they think that the route to the White House is coming up with a more popular celebrity than Donald Trump is. And now they want to test that with the Oprah. And I'm going to tell you this. The Oprah is not a nationwide vote getter like these people think she is. And nobody in Hollywood is. Tom Hanks, take your pick of any of them. Throw them up there, make them candidates, put them on the stump, and I will guarantee you not one of them gets close to what Donald Trump pulled off. No different than the Democrat Party. They sit there and tell themselves that what they think and what they believe is what the vast majority of Americans think and believe. Hollywood, same thing. They go out and make these movies that nobody's going to see anymore, and yet they tell themselves that they are reflecting and mirroring the majority of Americans. They are as out of touch as the inside the Beltway crowd is. What are you smirking at? I don't think Oprah Winfrey could get anywhere near the total number of millions of votes that the Trumpster got. No way. By the way, once the Oprah starts talking about the issues that she believes in, it's going to be even tougher. It's going to be all it would be would be a return to Obamaism with wildly bigger government, wildly bigger intrusions, slow down economy. A big case could be made. What's your question? Do I think the Oprah would do better than the Hillary? Depends on how hard the Oprah worked. Remember, Hillary didn't work. Hillary probably couldn't because her physical circumstances were such that she couldn't work. She couldn't stand up half the time. And plus, she had this arrogant conceit that she didn't have to work. Trump didn't have a prayer, remember? Back then, Trump was unfit. Back then, he was insane. Back then, he was crazy and a lunatic. Nobody's going to vote for Trump. And all he's done is vanquish everything and everybody that's been put in front of him. So could the Oprah do better than the Hillary? Well, too many variables to just state yes or no. We'd have to know how serious Oprah is. How smart is the Oprah? Folks, I'm telling you, we're going to have to redefine smart. I started on this last Thursday and Friday, and there's a piece in the stack of stuff that somebody sent me that is essentially a restatement of what I had said last week under a different theme about who's really smart and who's dumb and who's outrunning and outfoxing and outsmarting who, and Trump is obviously outfoxing and outsmarting everybody. How about this? Here we are. We have arrived in media world, folks. This is award season. This is what the entertainment world lives for. Nighttime NFL games are finished. The holidays are over. A return to normalcy has set in. And so it's awards season. So we've got the Golden Globes. Then we're going to have the Grammys or whatever. And then we're going to have the foreign press business. And then we're going to have the Epidemic Awards. And then we're going to, they're never ending. There'll be some country music awards thrown in here. The next 3 months are laden with award ceremonies. What's Donald Trump done? He's crashing it. Donald Trump is crashing awards season. His timing is perfect. His idea, if you ask me, is genius. Donald Trump has a world stage to bring attention. to whatever he wants to bring attention to. And he's decided in the midst of award season to have the fake news awards. They were originally supposed to be given out this afternoon at 5 o'clock, but Trump says the losers will be, the winners will be announced on Wednesday rather than today because the interest and the importance of these awards is far greater than anyone could have anticipated. So Trump has the world to bring attention to what he's going to bring attention to, and that is faux journalism. That is lying out of context, whatever you want to call it, fake news. Fighting the media endeared this president to millions of Americans who are appalled by journalism's descent into blatant propaganda. Millions of Americans have tuned out and turned off because they no longer trust it, and worse, they get angered by it. It is obviously unfair. It's obviously rigged. It's not even news anymore. The media doesn't do news. The media has one objective, and that is to advance the fortunes of the Democrat Party and the American left however they can do it. If the American left and the Democrat Party don't have anything we're talking about, then the mission is to destroy the opposition. The Republican Party, conservatives, and, of course, Donald Trump. So Trump is going to tap into this existing outrage, part of which put him in the White House. And in the midst of the left's award season, he's going to stick it to a smug pack of faux journalists. And he's going to do it with facts, and it's going to be hilarious. It's going to combine the serious presentation of news with irreverent humor. Trump is no dummy. Trump understands TV. He understands promotion. He understands build-up. He totally gets social media. He understands and has defined the entertainment industry. He gets the news industry. He understands comedy. He has comedic timing. He understands business better than any of his opponents and critics ever will because they've never been in it. And he gets politics. And he's taken all these elements of the American landscape and created a presidency like no one's ever seen before. And that he can do it with a dose of mischief. So, the fake news awards, going to the most corrupt and biased of the mainstream media, presented to the losers on Wednesday, January 17th, right in the midst of Hollywood's own award season. Quick time out, folks. Hang on. Much more, as always. Welcome back, my friends. Rush Limbaugh, half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair. We start on the phones today with Judy in Houston. Judy, welcome. It's great to have you.
Hey, Russ, it's an honor. I talked to you a couple of years ago, and it is such an honor to speak to you again.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I just, my birthday's on Friday, and this has just made my week. But anyway, my point is my husband and I watched a little bit of the Globes yesterday, and I just really don't know what they proved. I mean, they still had their boobs pushed up and their slits up all on their thighs and showing legs.
Wait a minute. What are you saying here? Are you saying that they were trying to tempt men? That they were attempting to arouse men by virtue of their appearance?
I would hope not.
Well, why didn't they come out dressed like the Handmaid's Tale babes? You know, wearing the milk, the farm babes, the bonnets, and so forth. You're right. You know, I had not noticed that. They did come out there, and they were all wearing black, these cocktail dresses, and I did see some of the boobs pushed up. As a man, you notice those things.
My husband noticed.
Yeah.
I noticed. I mean, I think they were just happy that they didn't have to compete on colors. And, oh, good. We can all wear black. Yay. Easy decision.
That's not why they wore black.
Oh, I see.
They wore black because they were in mourning.
Right.
Because of Weinstein. They're in mourning because of the circumstances in Hollywood.
I'm waiting for somebody to edit together all the clips of all the awards where every woman thanked Harvey Weinstein and what he did, how he got.
Let me tell you something. Those are legion. And Judy, that's a good point. Thanks for the call. There are pictures circulating. What? It is a great point. They show up there and their boobs are pushed up, the thigh slits, on the dresses up there. Why? Why do women do that? Look, I don't want to sound like an idiot. I know why they do that. The point is how hypocritical. They're up there supposedly defenseless. The New York Times had a story in this stuff. And it was written by a woman. And she's right. There's going to be backlash to this. This woman writing this story. So, look, I'm not trying to diminish sexual harassment in the workplace. But when did women become so damn helpless, particularly in the midst of feminism? Men have flirted forever. Men have asked women out or for a drink or for their phone number forever. No, leave me alone. If you touch me again, I'm calling the cops or whatever. I understand Hollywood's different. The guy's asking to determine whether you have a future or not. But she has a good point. When did they become such victims? But my point is, there are pictures. Here they're touting Oprah, right? There are pictures all over the place today of Oprah Winfrey hugging Harvey Weinstein, pecking Harvey Weinstein on the cheek, holding Harvey Weinstein by the arm as he escorts her. They're all over the place. There are countless pictures of the Oprah with the Harv. What explains that? I didn't know. We didn't know. Come on. Folks, I'm sorry, but I just refuse to have my intelligence insulted. Do you know why everyone in and out of Hollywood for the past 100 years, you know that they've known what a casting couch is, right? Everybody in Hollywood knows what a casting couch is. In fact, everybody not in Hollywood knows what a casting couch is. Because it was never a secret that the casting couch was part of doing business in one of the sleaziest industries you'll ever find. The casting couch was, for many women, a requirement. Hollywood created and maintained a sexist, misogynist culture, and it was not a secret. By virtue of the knowledge of the casting couch alone, it is so omnivorous that the casting couch has become a running joke. But the point is, everyone knew. Everyone, particularly about the Harv, everyone knew. And these people trying to score points by saying they didn't know. Everybody now pretending they didn't know. And not just about the Harv. There are other miscreants in Hollywood, sleaze bags, dirtballs. The only way they can get women is to have this kind of power over them. It's acting. That's what happens out there. And all of this, I didn't know. It's a bunch of acting. Because everybody has known about the casting couch for 100 years. And now they try to tell us they didn't know. It doesn't wash, folks. Actress. This is page 6 of the New York Times. Actress Weinstein used Oprah and Naomi to seduce me. An aspiring actress says that Harvey Weinstein used Oprah Winfrey and Naomi Campbell to dupe her into thinking she, or he rather, would help her with her career and only ended up using her for sex. British actress Kadian Noble. It might be Kadian, I have no idea, but it's Kadian. Kadian Noble said that she was head over heels impressed when she first met the Harv at an event in London because he was hanging out with Naomi Campbell. And the Oprah was swinging off his arm. And oh, man, this guy really must have it if the Oprah and Naomi Campbell are hanging around him. I thought, obviously, this man has something amazing in store for me, she said during a press conference in Manhattan where she was discussing sex trafficking lawsuit she filed a day earlier against Weinstein in Manhattan Federal Court. This story also from last November 28th. Instead, Weinstein used promises of career advancement to lure this actress to his hotel room in Cannes, France, where he forced himself on her. I don't think the hotel's actually in Cannes. Didn't Weinstein hang out at the Hotel de Cap in Eden Rock? Yes, I think so. Well, it's 6 of 1/2 dozen. Anyway, she says, I feel completely played. No. She's not saying that the Oprah and Naomi Campbell tricked her. She's saying simply because she saw them hanging around and slobbering all over Harvey that he had to be okay. I mean, if the Oprah is running around with Harvey Weinstein arm in arm and they're pecking each other on the cheek, and if Naomi Campbell's doing it, oh my God, this guy must be hot. She said it was that familiarity she saw between them that made her think Weinstein was something that he obviously wasn't. In NBC, somebody last night tweeted a picture of Oprah under the NBC Twitter feed, nothing but respect for our future president. NBC said, no, we didn't do that. We didn't do that, just like we didn't edit the 9/11 call there involving Trayvon Martin, George Zimmer. We didn't accept that they did do that. NBC did do this last night on Twitter. So now NBC, the tweet that was sent out by a third-party agency for NBC Entertainment in real time during the live broadcast, it's in reference to a joke made during the opening monologue and not meant to be a political statement. We have since removed the tweet. Really? Nothing but respect for our future president on the NBC Twitter feed. Oh, we didn't mean that. That was a joke. It was in reference to something in the monologue that opened the program. That was a third party. Somebody got in there, our feed, and started screwing around. It really wasn't us. So NBC is now saying it doesn't have control over its Twitter accounts. A third party does all their Twitter tweets? I like that, Twitter tweets. Now, they say Trump is unhinged. But now NBC is claiming we didn't do it when they tweeted out nothing but respect for our future. Somebody at NBC did it. The bottom line is, how do you ever trust NBC? I mean, even before this, when they edited that 9/11 calls, George Zimmerman trying to make him out to be a racist pig. Well, if you don't remember that, I got to take a break. And I want to get some of the audio sound bites involving the Oprah and the Golden Globes. Plus, your phone calls are still lurking out there behind the yellow blinking lights. All coming up when we get back. And back to the phones we go. This is Walt in East Smithfield, Pennsylvania. Hey, Walt, how you do? Stay warm?
Yeah, we're staying warmer. Actually, it's up to a balmy 27 degrees today.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad it's getting livable.
Yes, Rush. I'm proud and pleased to be on the phone with you and have your ear. Since the beginning of this Me Too thing started, I had thought, who benefits from this? What benefit is there? And at the time, way back in last quarter, I thought, well, Oprah might benefit from it. She's a big power broker in Hollywood, lots of money to, make projects go and whatnot. And since the rest of these, power brokers in the media have, bitten the dust, do you feel that she's gained in eminence? Not become preeminent, but gained in eminence.
As what?
Oh, as a power broker, as a political force now, evidently, since her speech last night.
Wait a minute. You're asking in relationship to the Me Too movement, which is women finally courageously coming forward and naming sexual harassers and abusers.
Right.
And so in the process, a bunch of men have been fired, dismissed, humiliated, shamed, out of positions of power.
Right.
And Oprah has moved in. You're saying is Oprah now primed to fill that vacuum?
Yes. Sort of a last man standing, rhetorically.
Oprah as the last man standing in Hollywood. Well, do you know whether or not she puts her pants on one leg at a time like all the other guys do?
Well, I guess if she wears pants. The thing about it is, since the beginning of this, all over the media, we've seen these power brokers be one at a time knocked down.
Right. I see where this is going. The Oprah is behind this. I see where you're going. I said somebody sent me a note. Rush, you're wrong. Oprah could easily be elected president. Don't forget, she used to offer her audience free things, cars, purses, trips to Vegas. Well, yeah. I mean, if she's going to give every American a new car, and if they believe her, yeah. I mean, it'd be tough to compete against. But I don't think it would ever come down to that. We're getting way ahead of ourselves there. We'll double back to audio soundbite time. Starting here at the top, June 30th, 2000. We're going to go back 17 and a half years. I've had Oprah's shtick tagged for as long as this show's been on the air. We just picked a random example of me saying this. And we went back pretty far. 17 and a half years is when I said this.
The question's been raised in this program a number of times since I've been hosting it. Rush, why is Oprah so popular? What is it about that show? If you've ever watched it, she cries all the time. I mean, the biggest audience is women. The fastest way to a woman's heart is cry. The emotional, it's a magnet.
It is. It's emotional, it's a magnet. And so with that, we move on to last night. The drive-bys raving about Oprah and admitting that Oprah made them cry. This is CNN's newsroom this morning. Co-anchor Rosemary Church speaking with the Hollywood Reporter magazine, Rebecca's son, about Oprah's speech. Oprah stole the show with an inspiring speech on sexual harassment, freedom of the press, that has some suggesting she run for president in 2020. What's being said about her speech and its impact?
Oprah Winfrey's speech was hands down the highlight of the night, and Oprah 2020, Oprah for president memes are already trending on Twitter. Oprah Winfrey really moved the entire room to tears, and I would imagine a lot of people at home as well.
Right. If you've ever watched it, Oprah cries all the time. Biggest audience is women. The fastest way to a woman's heart show like that is to cry. And they were crying last night. WNBC TV's news after the Golden Globes. Here's a portion of a report about Oprah.
One of the most impactful moments of the night was when Oprah Winfrey became the first black woman ever to receive the Cecil B. DeMille Lifetime Achievement Award. Her speech was poignant. It was emotional. Some people in the audience were brought to tears.
There it is again. People were brought to tears. This is the shtick of the Oprah. Whenever the Oprah is nailing it, when the Oprah is kicking it, there are tears. Either hers or the audience, and sometimes both. Good Morning America, Robin Roberts speaking with Glamour magazine editor-in-chief Cindy Levy about the award show last night. Question, we also saw activists that were there as guests. Tarana Burke, she started the Me Too movement more than a decade ago.
Absolutely, 10 years ago. And Did you see her with tears in her eyes, though, as Oprah was speaking? I thought that was really beautiful to see the movement that she's started become such an incredible thing around the world.
See that? And did you see the tears in her eyes? Folks, don't doubt me on this. Some of you might be saying, Rush, this is kind of shallow. I mean, for you. No, folks, don't doubt me on this. Now, would somebody explain to me this? Oprah is what? She's a television host, right? Okay. Well, I mean, the Cecil B. DeMille Award for crying out. Do you know what that is? Right. She did The Color Purple. Cecil B. DeMille created an industry, defined it. She's done a movie or two. How does that work? How do you get the Cecil B. Has Spielberg won the Cecil B. DeMille Award? I don't know. I'm just asking out here. first African-American woman to win. No, I'm not upset. I don't care. I'm simply asking about, you know how Hollywood and the left and awards. I mean, they gave Dan Rather an award for the fake news he did on George Bush and the National Guard, and they did that to protect the business. So you give the Oprah one of these awards here in the midst of, destroying the Harv and everybody else associated with him. I mean, you know how the left is corrupted everything it touches because it's politicized everything. I don't care if she won the Cecil B. DeMille Award. I'm just wondering how it works. Did Oprah start a studio? Harpo Productions, and that did movies? Okay, if I stand corrected. If Harpo did movies, I stand corrected. I didn't know that Oprah had become such a big Hollywood mogul. I didn't know that Oprah's name gets mentioned with Spielberg and Ridley Scott and Harvey Weinstein, all the big producers. I learned something. Listen, what else we have here? Oh, little Brian Stelter at CNN. He's the media critic, media analyst at CNN. And this morning on CNN, Poppy Harlow, one of the infobabes at CNN, was speaking with Reliable Sources host Brian Stelter, talking about media mogul Oprah and Cecil B. DeMille Award winner, Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Cecil B. DeMille Award winner, Oprah Winfrey, and her speech at the Golden Globes last night. Poppy Harlow said, Brian, this is your reporting on what 2020 could look like. Now, this is what you're reporting on what could look like. That was the question. Here's what little Brian said.
According to two of her close friends, she is actively thinking about running for president in 2020. Now, that doesn't mean she's made up her mind. I'm told she has not made up her mind. She is being urged by her inner circle to really take this seriously, to really consider running for president. In fact, I was one of these sources described a conversation with Oprah where they were trying to urge her to go ahead and think about running, laying out the case for an Oprah Winfrey presidency. The headline is that these close friends say they've been urging her to run for months, and she is actively thinking about it.
Okay, so we're on the heels of what the left hates as a celebrity president, and they want to answer with their own celebrity. Her friends are urging her to think about it, laying out the case for an Oprah Winfrey presidency. She is thinking about it. She hasn't made up her mind. Do any of these people remember that Donald Trump, on the day he announced in 2015, suggested Oprah Winfrey would be a great running mate for him? Do any of these people remember how Donald Trump was ridiculed and laughed at, impugned, and mocked as being unserious because he was thinking about putting Oprah Winfrey on the ticket? The fact that Oprah was even in his mind as a potential running mate proved that Trump was unserious. And now, 3 years later, what the media told us proved Trump is unserious has now become the front runner for the Democrat. Has anybody told Michelle Obama about this? And we're back. Having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. Rush Limbaugh, emitting vocal vibrations, rhetoric, and resonance to all 4 corners of the world, where, of course, I have become a household name. Here is the Oprah herself. Last night on the 75th Annual Golden Globe Awards, she was awarded the Cecil B. DeMille Award for outstanding contributions to the world of entertainment. And during her remarks, she told the story of Reese Taylor, a woman who fought for justice in the Jim Crow era after she was raped. And the Oprah said this.
She lived, as we all have lived, too many years in a culture broken by brutally powerful men. For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up. Your time is up.
Your time is up.
Your time is up.
Your time is up. What? Well, there you have it. If the Oprah says your time is up. By the way, I just got an email. There must be too many pictures to count of the Oprah in close confines with Harvey Weinstein. The point is she loved Harvey Weinstein. She was in his inner circle. She was, I guarantee you, Weinstein was the guy. For so many years, you wanted to be something in Hollywood. You wanted to get something done. You wanted whatever. You had to know. You had to be liked by. You just had to be in the orbit of Harvey Weinstein. Well, you didn't have to be, but it helped. I mean, and a lot of people wanted to be. And she did. The point is, in these photos, it would not be an exaggeration to say that she was all over Weinstein or vice versa. The point is they were very close. I just don't believe that she didn't know. I don't believe it. Meryl Streep didn't know. And Meryl Streep, this is classic. Meryl Streep says, the question is not whether I knew. The question is, what is Melania Trump going to do to get her husband to stop all of it? That is a classic misdirection play that the left uses. When they've been caught, change the subject and about whom you were accusing. Yeah. Meryl Streep's as much as admitting that she knew what Weinstein was doing, but that's not the big problem. The big problem is Donald Trump. It's no different than when Weinstein was caught. What did he say? He tried to buy himself his way out of this by promising to devote every ounce of energy he had left to destroying the NRA, right? What was that meant to do? That was meant to get people to forget what he had done and to remember how valuable the Harv was or is. And we're going to take the Harv and we're going to help wipe out the NRA. The Harv's going to lead it. It's worth holding on to the Harv to get rid of the NRA. So here's Meryl Streep doing essentially the same thing. But I think it's asking a lot to believe that the Oprah didn't know about the Harv. Here's one more from the Oprah in her acceptance remarks after winning the Cecil B. DeMille Award for outstanding contributions to the world of entertainment.
I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, me too.
I would say that you've already arrived. At that moment, the Oprah, looking at the way some of the women were clad last night. I mean, there were dresses slit up to the panty line there on the thigh. You had a bunch of boobs being pushed up and out there. And I'd say if you feel safe enough to show up like that, the Me Too movement's done with. What a rousing start to the busy broadcast week here on the EIB network. And we are not finished yet. We head to Lake Mary, Florida, and this is Paula. Hey, Paula, great to have you here.
Well, it's an honor, Rush. Thank you so much. I'm a retired law enforcement officer, and it just occurred to me listening to your last caller that was one of the first things I thought about with the Trump dossier was that it's fruit of a poisonous tree. If we were to have gotten a search warrant based on the criteria set forth or supposedly set forth in this dossier, trust me, it would have been thrown out. But that's not why I called. I called because I'm big on learning lessons, and you say this all the time. And the two things that struck me this morning with, number one, with Oprah, the left and the media apparently haven't learned that anybody Hollywood endorses it's almost like the death knell. They're just not going to make it. And if Hollywood makes a big to-do about it, Beyonce and all them, God help them. God help them. The other thing that struck me today was that the more the left and the media thumped Trump, the stronger his base becomes. The more absurd and ridiculous, the harder they try, the more crap they throw at him.
This is a great point, and it raises a number of questions. Here you have these people in Hollywood, and the more they bash Trump, the stronger his base supports him. And the more, look at the Hollywood box office. This was a disaster. This year was a disaster, just in terms of ticket sales, box office budgets, a disaster. Even this latest Star Wars movie is already in its second week petering out. Unprecedented for a Star Wars movie to die that quickly. Hollywood is like the NFL. The NFL is failing to realize why their television ratings are down. They're failing to realize why fewer people are showing up to watch games in stadiums. They have got themselves convinced it's too much football. The Thursday night game is just too much and people are worn out. And the leftists cannot admit that they are being rejected because they think they are the majority. They are the heartbeat of America. So they rely on it just being the stupidity of the American people. And as such, they just continue to beat the American people over the head with the same things the American people are rejecting. This is it's exactly what the left does. And now look, now after saying Trump was unserious when he mentioned Oprah as his running mate. He did this the first day he announced in June of 2015. He talked about Oprah as a possible running mate, and they said that proves he's not serious. Now they are talking about Oprah being their nominee. They're a bunch of copycats, and they think the answer now is celebrity. And here we have Donna Brazile out there paving the way for Michelle Obama to get the nomination. And somebody, I wouldn't want to have to tell Michelle Obama that she's going to have to step aside for the Oprah. Because I'll guarantee you Michelle Obama and her husband Barack Hussein Obama are thinking that Oprah is nothing in politics without them. They don't think Oprah made them. They think they gave Oprah political cred because all Oprah did before they came along was cry on TV and in movies. Yeah, there's nothing original for the left. They recycle playbook pages and update it for current content. But I'm glad, Paul, I'm glad you called. I really appreciate it.